Okay, so today what we're going to be doing is graphing rational functions, okay? We're going to be taking the things that we did last time and we're going to add a few things and we're going to go ahead and graph these. So first thing I'm going to do is find my horizontal and vertical asymptotes. So I'm going to follow the same rules. So again, for horizontal, remember I look for the biggest exponent on top and bottom. Here I don't see any x's. So the biggest exponent is 0 because there's no x's. On the bottom, it's x to the 1. So again, this is going to be bottom bigger. So my horizontal asymptote is going to be y equals 0 because my bottom was bigger. Okay, vertical asymptote, there's nothing to factor. You can't do anything with 2 or x plus 3, so I'm not going to factor anything. So again, all I'm going to do is take whatever's on the bottom and set it equal to 0. So this I get x equals -3. Okay? Okay, now these are the two new things that we're going to look at. We're going to look at x-intercept and y-intercept. So for x-intercept, all you're going to do is set up whatever's on the top and set it equal to 0, okay? So I see 2 equals 0. That doesn't make any sense. So for this, there's none. And for y-intercept, what we're going to do is we're going to take this, and wherever I see an x, I'm going to put a 0 in there. So this is going to equal 2/3, okay? So for my x-intercept, I had none. And for my y-intercept, I always want it to write it as a point. So the x value was 0 that I plugged in, and the y value was 2/3, so I'm going to go 0, 2/3. And I'm going to use these in a little bit to show you what we're going to do. So what now I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my graph, and I'm going to use this information to help me graph this, okay? So again, y equals 0. So y equals 0 is horizontal, so it's going to be like this, and it's at the 0. So I'm going to draw myself a dashed line here at y equals 0, okay? X equals -3, that's vertical, so it's going to go like this. So I'm going to start here, go 1, 2, 3 backwards, and again, I'm going to draw a dashed line right here, because asymptotes they're imaginary lines that we're never going to cross. And we're going to use these two lines to draw our picture, okay? So I don't have an x-intercept, so I can't use that, but I do have a y-intercept, 0, 2/3. So that means my point is going to be right here, right above the 0 line, right there. And the way this works is you're always going to follow your asymptote. So that means I'm going to draw something in here. So I'm going to start over here, and I'm going to follow my asymptote. Boom, cross my dot, and then follow this guy all the way out. Okay, so that's my first line. Now, I don't know whether this next part's going to be up here or down here. So I'm going to have to go ahead and plug in a point from over here and see what that gives me. Okay, so what I'm going to plug over here is let's try -4. Okay, so I'm going to go in here and I'm going to plug in -4 into my equation and see what I get. So I'm going to go down here. So I'm going to go 2/-4 plus 3. And that's 2/-1, which gives me a -2. So another point I can use is -4, -2. So I'm going to go back to my graph. And I'm going to go, I'm going to go -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, -2. Boom. So that means I'm going to be in this section of the graph. So again, what I'm going to do is, since I'm in this part, I'm going to just follow my asymptotes. Oh, draw it better than me, please. And all the way out. Okay? And so this is what the graph of the rational function is going to look like. So this is going to be our second example, okay? So again, I'm going to do the same thing. Horizontal, vertical, x-intercept, y-intercept, and then I'm going to draw my graph, and I'm going to see if I need any more points. So first thing I'm going to do is, again, with horizontal, I'm just looking for the biggest exponent on the top and the bottom. Here I see x2. Here I look and I see x2 again. So in this case, they're the same, which remember, all I'm going to do is take the number in front of each of those. So what's the number here? It's a 1 over, what's the number in front of here? 1. So it's going to be y equals 1, okay? For vertical, remember, I'm going to have to factor the top and factor the bottom. So for this, again, this is that special case. Remember, there's two terms with a minus sign in between, and they both have a square root. So this is going to become x, and then the square root of 4 is 2 and 2, and I'm going to put a plus and a minus, okay? This has an x squared with 3 terms, so this is just my normal factoring. X squared, I'm going to do x, and give me two numbers that multiply to 8. Let's try 4 and 2. That's the first thing that came to mind. So I got 2x and 4x. Can I get a 2? Absolutely. I need it to be negative. So it's going to be -4 plus 2. And now I'm going to see if anything crosses off. X plus 2 crosses off on both. So that's going to leave me with x minus 2 over x minus 4, okay? And remember, for the vertical asymptote, all I'm going to do is whatever's on the bottom equals 0. So I'll go plus 4. So x equals 4. So that's going to be my vertical asymptote, okay? For x-intercept, what I'm going to do is set everything on the top equal to 0. And I'm just going to use the new equation that I have after I canceled. So in this case, I'm going to go x minus 2 equals 0. I'm going to go plus 2, and I'm going to go x equals 2. Okay? For the y-intercept, when I plug in 0 for x again, I'm going to use the same thing. I'm going to use that new equation because it's less terms, so it's easier for me. So I'm going to go 0 minus 2 over 0 minus 4. That gives me negative 2 over negative 4, which when I simplify that gives me 1 over 2. Oh, and remember, x-intercepts and y-intercepts need to be points. So again, x-intercept is always going to be, since it's the x, it's going to go 2, and then my y value will be 0. For y-intercept, my x value is 0, and my y value is a half. So these are points that I'm going to use to help me draw. So there's 2 comma 0 for the x first, and then 0 comma a half for the second one. Okay? And again, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my graph, and I'm going to use these to help me draw it. So now my horizontal asymptote, remember horizontal goes like this, is y equals 1. So I'm going to go up to the 1 value, and I'm going to draw myself a dotted line. Here I have x equals 4. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. It's vertical, so I'm going to go like this. Okay. I have 2 points, so I'm going to use them both. I have 2 comma 0, which is right here. And I have 0 comma a half, which goes right here. Which again follows my normal path, so it's going to be like this. So again, I'm going to follow my asymptote, and I'm just going to draw this in. It needs to be a straight line. And then like that down, okay? Now again, I need to figure out what I need to do over here. So I need to choose a point over here. So for me, I'll choose the number 5, because 5 is an x value that's over here. So again, I'm going to use my new equation. So for this, I'm going to go 5 minus 3 over 5 minus 4, and that gives me 2 over 1, or just 2. So the x value I plugged in was 5, and the y value I got out was 2. So that's going to be my new point. So I'm going to go back to my graph. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 until my dot's here. So that means it's going to be in this little section right here. So again, I'm going to follow my thing, straight line, and then all the way out. Okay? And that's how we're going to do graphing rational functions. So what did we do? We found my horizontal and vertical asymptotes. So remember, horizontal follows these 3 rules. Vertical, factor everything, cancel off anything you can. Bottom equals 0. X-intercept was set the top equal to 0. Y-intercept set x equal to 0 and solve to get my numbers. And then just use that information to graph. Okay? And that's what we got for today. Let's go.